we're going to continue to stabilize markets and decrease the prices at a time when the actions of other countries have caused such volatility. Let's debunk some myths here. My administration has not stopped or slowed U.S. oil production. I have been doing everything in my power to reduce gas prices since Putin's invasion of Ukraine caused these prices to spike and rattle international oil markets.
President Biden denies he's tapping our strategic oil reserve once again to score political points ahead of the midterm elections 19 days from now.
But the Wall Street Journal editorial board is not buying it. Quote, the new releases are a sign of political desperation. We've been writing for months that Mr. Biden could deflate oil prices by giving a simple speech declaring an end to his political war on fossil fuels. Instead, he resorts to gimmicks like the SPR releases and cozies up to dictators. Markets are smarter than administration officials think, and so are voters. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee joins us now. Governor, great to see you. As always, from the Wall Street Journal to the cover of the New York Post this morning, gas backward. Joe is full of malarkey again. Are you calling malarkey on Joe, or, Governor, do you have a stronger word to use?
I don't know that I could get much stronger than the New York Post and be able to get away with it on television. The only thing that is slicker than oil is Joe Biden's attempt to slide his way through a crisis that he created. The oil reserves in America, the Strategic Oil Reserve, could handle up to 715 million gallons. It could last us for 4 years. Joe dumped 180 million gallons out of it back in March because he was trying to lower prices and make it look like he was really taking care of business. But that's not a supply. That's a reserve. And now he wants to take some more out of it just before the election. No, that's not political motivation, not at all. But the fact is, we could have bought oil at 24 bucks a barrel back when Trump was president. He tried to do it. Chuck Schumer blocked it. Now Biden wants to buy it at 80 bucks a barrel. So just do the math on that and figure Americans aren't stupid. They understand that if we're going to pay 80 bucks instead of 24, maybe Joe has mismanaged this whole thing, and he has.
President Biden is heading to Pennsylvania today to signal his support for Democrats on the ballot there. But an op-ed in the New York Times, Governor, makes a pretty good point. It says, there is nothing quite like having a president at a big, boisterous campaign rally, and Democrats in 4 cities, Atlanta, Detroit, Milwaukee, and Las Vegas, will get that chance this month in the final days of voting that will decide who controls Congress, governor's offices, and state houses. But it won't be President Biden. It will be former President Barack Obama. And, Governor, that's because of President Biden's unpopularity, which has got to be a hard pill for him to swallow. What do you make of this strategy?
Well, if I were a candidate, I'd much rather have President Obama show up for me. He can at least get a full sentence together. He's fairly articulate and coherent. I mean, can you imagine the kind of spellbinding, riveting speech that would be on the stage if Joe Biden and John Fetterman teamed up? I mean, that's a pay-per-view, but not for Democrats.
I think they're also, if I'm not mistaken, getting Kamala Harris today. So you got Biden, Harris, and Fetterman. Make sure the cameras are rolling. That's going to be our entire newscast tomorrow, all the gas and the word salads. Want to make this point clear before we let you go. In Nevada, Adam Laxalt holding a slight lead over his opponent, Democrat Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. A lot of faces, a lot of people looking at Nevada saying this could be the decider. In the end, do Republicans gain control of the Senate? 20 seconds to you, Governor.
Well, this is a big one, and a lot of people are saying that if Masto loses this, it's lights out for the Democrats this year. And I think Laxalt wins. I think the Republicans take the Senate by a few seats. It's going to be a good night, November 8th.
Governor Mike Huckabee, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate you, as always.
Thank you.